Okay, I think people are trickling in a little bit slower now. If Heather, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Um, just I wanted to do a quick introduction and thank you all for being here today. Um, Really, this has been a an awesome opportunity for us. So thank you to Steve Kretschmer as well. But I'll let Sophia and her team tell the whole story of how we all met. But we really, I think anybody who knows MCI knows that we really enjoy working with students and we learn a lot from the various students that we work with. And in this case, the Cornell team was brought to us via Steve Kretschmer and the Cecil team. And we've been working with them for about a year. And I just think it's important to highlight the not just the engagement itself, but the quality of what we've gotten out of this engagement. And just a way for us to continue to promote our dedication to engaging young people in the future of contraceptive product development. It's a great way to, especially being a small organization like MCI, it's a great way to allow young people to have a real input on the work that we're doing. So, these are areas of expertise that we may not have in-house. um, so that's been a real benefit to us. So really, we wanted to highlight the great work that the Cornell team has done and also promote looking at students within your own organizations or networks. There's programs that we've dealt with at just about every university. So just a reminder that you might have an extra set of hands and some really great minds right at your fingertips. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over. Sophia, are you starting? Is that right? Or is it Nancy?
So it is Nancy,
Okay.
but yeah, we can start with our presentation.
Okay, great. So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves and the program, and I will just hand it off from here. But thank you again, and thank you to this team for joining. Again, Cecil for connecting us, Steve for connecting us, and thank you all for being here today.
Awesome. Nice to meet everyone. Today we're going to present on behalf of Engineering World Health, engineering project team here at Cornell University, and how we've been involved in male contraceptive development. And thank you, Heather, for the introduction. And today we have four presenters. So I'm Nancy. I am a computer science major and I'm a graduating senior this semester. I joined EWH in my freshman fall. So all throughout my Cornell experience, I've been involved in this team and it's been a very fruitful experience. And I'll have the other three presenters quickly introduce themselves here too.
I'm Sophia. I'm a healthcare policy major and I'm a junior and I'm the current business sub-team lead. I joined Engineering World Health in the fall of my freshman year as well. And like Nancy, it's been a very fruitful experience for me.
Hi, I'm Ria. I'm a sophomore studying cognitive science and information science. I joined EWH in my freshman fall, so it's been quite a bit of time, but I've really enjoyed the experience of collaborating with different kinds of organizations and companies and just diving deeper into helping out the community.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Lee, and I'm a sophomore studying chemistry in the College of Arts and Sciences, and I joined EWH last semester. And I also really love being able to help different businesses and organizations through this position.
Yeah, and a little bit about who we are. So we are comprised of four sub-teams, which I'll dive deeper into the next slide. But we design and construct innovative solutions to drive meaningful impact in the biotechnology and healthcare space. And in order to do so, we partner with nonprofits, researchers, and industry collaborators to ensure our work is practical, scalable, and tailored to real-world needs. And to ensure our members have the opportunity to really collaborate with industry professionals and to see how their impact and their skill set can be leveraged in the workforce. And in terms of innovation and implementation, we redesign existing health technologies and develop novel solutions that are deployed by our partners worldwide to improve healthcare access and outcomes. So even though we are split up into 4 different sub-teams that range from more engineering and technical to more strategy focused like the business sub-team, we kind of unite in a variety of different values, including accessibility, impact, education, innovation within the biotech and healthcare industry. And we always come together weekly to share our progress with our different collaborators and establish goals and objectives throughout the school year and semester so that we can provide the greatest benefit. And yeah, so our team was founded in 2012. So it's been 14 years, and again, focused on strategic and innovative solutions. We currently have over 40 members spanning diverse majors and colleges at Cornell. So we are affiliated with Cornell University's Duffield College of Engineering, which supports over 30 project teams across various engineering disciplines. And for us specifically, it's more on the biomedical and healthcare side. And in terms of most represented majors in our team, those include biomedical engineering, electrical and computer engineering, as well as pre-medical and pre-health majors, including biology, chemistry, and healthcare policy, as we are represented here today. And across our sub-teams, we have collaborated with a variety of startups and nonprofit organizations, especially in the past few years, including BC Children's Hospital, 2 Foot Prosthetics, Mission Driven Tech, Cerebral, and Rose Academies. And yeah, so more into what our sub-teams are currently pursuing. The business sub-team, which we'll dive deeper into in a bit, is pursuing 2 collaborations with Larkspur Biosciences and Sasio Pharmaceuticals to aid in market and disease research, as well as investor analysis and outreach strategy, respectively. Our electrical sub-team is working with Cerebral, a startup that is focused on developing a functional near-IR spectroscopy FNIR module to detect brain oxygenation for stroke detection. Additionally, they are working with BC Children's Hospital in Vancouver on Calmer, which is a baby bassinet that is controlled over Wi-Fi to play heartbeat audio and to rock the baby in the NICU. And our software sub-team is collaborating with Star School in Arizona towards a centralized web platform that brings together traditional health knowledge, community event scheduling, food and water access resources, and youth-focused programming in one accessible digital system for the Navajo community, bridging the gap between the Indigenous community and existing healthcare infrastructure that's already in place. And finally, our integrative design team is working with 2 Foot Prosthetics, and they have been working with this company for a while on developing a foot prosthetic, and they're culminating with a clinical study for their one-size-foot prosthetic and developing that and doing some potential travel for on-site clinical trials there. They're also continuing their collaboration with Solar Ear. And last semester, the team attended the Coalition for Global Hearing Health Conference last semester to present their kinetic energy supplemented hearing aid design. And this semester, they have moved on to prototyping for the design they presented. So all in all, we work on very diverse projects that usually span about one semester or 1 year or a couple of semesters, and being able to support a team that is able to really like tap into real world impact with these small organizations has really proven to be a very rewarding experience for all of our members as they explore potential career pathways and academic interests through these projects.
So now talking more about the business sub-team, as Nancy introduced earlier, we're currently working with Sacil Pharmaceuticals and Larkspur Biosciences, and we have two different teams working for each organization. For Sacil, we kind of worked a lot on their messaging for impact and angel investors and finding ways to increase the fund visibility for the male contraceptive fund. So this involved a lot of work on finding investors, finding ways to be able to increase their outreach. And then secondly, for Larkspur Biosciences, we supported their journey by researching current and emerging treatments in key cancer markets with attention to major pharmaceutical companies or competitors. Um, as of right now, Larkspur is finding ways to be able to license or possibly acquire one of their current drug candidates. So we've done a lot of research regarding that. And then a couple of our past collaborations includes Arterenal, where we did market analysis and economic research to help outline a value proposition in preparation for their launch of a biodurable graft for dialysis patients. And additionally, we worked with Mission Driven Tech, where we did a lot of grant research, funding strategy, and other business operations to increase their capital for the company. Our team is made up of a lot of different individuals with different interests, including consulting and data analytics, entrepreneurship, pre-med and pre-health, and life sciences research. And having such a diverse team with different interests has been really beneficial and really helpful for being able to work on such different projects.
So now I'm kind of going to talk about our general project search structure and how we go about looking for new collaborators. So we typically have all of our business members contribute to the project search process by cold contacting or cold emailing potential startups in the life sciences space with business needs that we think we could maybe fulfill with our skill sets. So in the past, we have used alumni connections such as Cornell Center for Life Science Ventures and other associated biomedical hubs to kind of look for startups that might need our help or could use our help. And then after that, we meet with potential collaborators that respond to us and discuss our capacities and their needs and see if there's a space where we align. And once that partnership is established, we align on specific goals that we want to achieve for each collaboration. And we really focus on setting a clear timeline and expectations for deliverables. So in connecting with Sasol, we started our initial project search in in spring 2025. And we found Sasol through an online search of biomedical startups with Cornell affiliations. So Dr. Joe Chen Buck and Dr. Lonnie Levin, both of them PhDs and professors at Cornell, were sort of that point of contact, or not the point of contact, but the point of connection that we found between Cecil and us as a Cornell affiliated project team. So we ended up cold emailing Cecil on March 25th of 2025, and we really tried to highlight our interests in healthcare equity and pro bono consulting work. Steve was the one that responded, and we met with him on April 2nd, 2025, and discussed the identification of angel investors and potential crowdfunding initiatives for Stasel. And because this was a collaboration that we were planning to start for the coming semester, we wanted to talk about potential meeting schedules for next semester. And when we came back in the fall of 2025, we kind of found that Cecil's needs had evolved, and that's when we got into contact with people at Male Contraceptive Initiative. So Heather and Aaron really kind of highlighted the new collaboration, the Global Contraceptive Development Fund, and it sort of was an evolution of Cecil's needs as they no longer seem to need as much help with crowdfunding and angel investing initiatives, but more so help with finding investors and raising awareness for the Global Contraceptive Development Fund. So we were given plenty of supplementary materials on GCDF and given some time to kind of evaluate the team's new pivot. And at the beginning, we really focused on finding novel investors that GCDF was not already aware of.
So, we meet with Cecile about every week, and here's kind of an example of our meeting schedule and kind of what goes on behind the scenes. We meet online every other week with Cecile, and then as for the business sub team, we meet in person every week to discuss our Cecile meeting and discuss the work that we did and the work that we will continue to do. So at the collaborator meeting, we present our current deliverables, we discuss challenges and gather feedback on the deliverables, and then we pinpoint areas for further exploration. Um, and then how we work after this online meeting, we will report back to the team with our collaborators' feedback at the in-person sub-team, discuss ideas for research, and assign deliverables to each individual, and then communicate progress asynchronously before the next meeting.
For fall 2025, we had two deliverables, an investor search and analysis, as well as an outreach strategy. For the outreach strategy, we built it around three channels working together, in which the email outreach was had personalized messaging segmented by investor type, a clear pitch, and a follow-up plan built in. The social media we included were LinkedIn, X, and etc. We posted with relevant communities highlighting Cecil and MCI's mission and using investor-focused messaging. And there was direct connection by leveraging mutual contacts for warm intros, using alumni networks, and building credibility through early stage outreach. And the idea was a three-stage funnel, including awareness, interest, and conversion, where we're building on recognition first, then momentum, and then going to the actual funding conversation. For the investor search and analysis, we built out a database of potential funders, profiling each name. For every fund we identified, we tracked their location, the size of the organization, who the right point of contact is, and what their investment portfolio actually looks like. Because the goal was to find investors who aren't already in the contraceptive space, but our values align. So we could hand Cecil and MCI a list of warm, qualified targets, not just a spreadsheet that it's cold. And then you can see, I'm going to show in the next slide, but a snapshot of the databases that shows like the funds from Ghana, the Netherlands, the UK, Spain, India, showing our impact on going global. And we also categorize investors into three buckets: biotech VCs, angel investors, and impact investors, because each one needs a completely different pitch. The biotech VCs want to see biological validation, a clear clinical development plan, and a strong IP because they're evaluating scientific rigor, while the angel investors are looking for simplicity of value proposition, large market opportunity, and a qualified founding team. And then lastly, the impact investors care about reducing unintended consequences, expanding contraceptive access, and just making sure there are more equitable solutions for men and women. So taken together, the database gives you the who, the outreach strategy gives you the how, and the investor type breakdown makes sure the message actually lands differently according to the corresponding audience. And in terms of our 2025 or spring 2026 plan, we decided we had a couple of initiatives. Spring 2026, we wanted to focus on the messaging and the social media strategy, where we had a discussion on the current contraceptive space and future directions, an intro of GCDF to different kinds of social medias, and focusing on a young student organization working with different kinds of organizations to show our long-term impact in a global space. And the next slide, you could see the visuals of our strategy where we had like the GCDF entry strategy with Facebook, the funding to global impact, the contraceptive innovation, and different kinds of columns for the hashtags that we wanted to target. You can, if you click onto the next slide, you can see the, yeah. So those just really show like the visuals that we wanted to create for the partnerships that we had. And then moving on to, in spring 2026, one of our main kinds of deliverables was planning this webinar where we wanted to show how a young student organization can work meaningfully with real contraceptive initiatives, not just do surface level consulting, but actually contribute. So it's a chance for our members to show a year's worth of work with SASL and MCI to an audience that understands the weight of what we're working on, as well as just doing a social media analysis to build out a direction for GCDF's online presence. And looking to the future, we wanted to zoom out and talk about where this is all going and our long-term mission. So everything we built out this year, the investor database, the outreach strategy, and the pitch deck, as well as the social media analysis, it's all in service of one larger goal, and that is helping SASL and MCI advance a new male contraceptive and establish what they're calling a $1 billion global contraceptive fund. By identifying the right investors and organizations, we're trying to directly accelerate the funding timeline. And the reason this matters beyond science is because of access. So essentially getting contraceptive solutions into underserved and underdeveloped regions that have historically been left out of the conversation. And then looking ahead for our business sub team, we're not stepping away from when this project wraps up. We'll still keep supporting our partners and using targeted outreach, stakeholder mapping, and market research. Specifically, we want to go deeper on demand and accessibility in underdeveloped nations, understanding not just who the funders are, but who the actual on the ground need looks like in those kinds of markets. And on even a larger scale, EWH projects typically run from 3 to 4 semesters. So we're still in the middle of this one and we have time. As we approach the end of our project with SASL, we'll start a new project search, looking for the next opportunity where the business strategy can create global health impact. And the work with SASL and MCI has really set a strong template for how we operate and how we want to carry that forward. And that's just the full picture, what we've been doing, what we've built, and where we're headed. Thank you so much, and we'll open it up for Q&A now.
Thank you all. That was really, really just well laid out. And like I said, the story that you tell, I think helps really demonstrate how you can come in and really contribute, as you said. We certainly benefited a lot. I want to make room for Steve to be able to talk about the engagement with SASL from SASL's perspective. But one thing I realized I forgot in my introduction. You heard the team mention the GCDF. So some of you may or may not have already heard us talk about this. So this is a fund that we had announced that we were going to raise at last year's, gosh, it's almost been a year at this point, contraceptive research conference that we hosted here in Durham. So we've been working on that for about a year. And so this is one of the ways that Steve dovetailed the Cornell team in with us. So the GCDF is actually being developed by MCI, but will be spun out to be its own independent entity at some point. So right now what we've been doing is getting it established, getting the infrastructure together, and the team helped us come up with a pitch deck and refining some of the messaging around the fund. So I realized everyone may not be aware of the GCDF. So more will definitely be coming out on that. We're getting to a point where we're going to be ready to sort of debut things, but this team has been critical in helping us with that. So I just wanted to put in that little bump there. And Steve, I don't know, did you want to say anything from the SASL perspective?
Well, I just wanted to be able to say, thank you to the team. Look, this is, I think, a great example of the students themselves coming forward saying, hey, we want to support the businesses, the spinouts that are coming out of our university. And we found an opportunity for them to help with SASL, but also beyond, particularly in engaging with MCI. And it's been a fantastic working relationship. We've really enjoyed working with the team. It's really been super.
Great. Are there any questions?
I can't find the hand function, so I'll just actually
You're
raise my
go
hand.
you're what is it? You're doing it old school there.
Yeah, right. I always love getting students involved and and thinking about the field from new perspectives. But I guess the question I had kind of for everybody is like, is there anything about the male contraceptive space that surprised you? Did you know about this world before you started this work? It's always something that I like to hear where people come from on it. So.
I guess I can start off by answering. So I would say no, the male contraceptive space definitely wasn't something that was super familiar for me before getting in contact with SASL. Um, I would say that especially for me, like as a healthcare policy major, a lot of what CESO does, a lot of what GCDF hopes to do really aligns with what I'm learning in terms of sort of health initiatives that have a global impact, that sort of actually work towards reducing health disparities. And I think one thing that really drew us into CESO in the very beginning was Deep's mention of some research studies they were doing in Africa, trying to map out sort of like the contraceptive need in those regions. And I think we were just really, I think I didn't realize how much of an impact development in male contraception could have. And I'm really glad that through this partnership, we've had this ability to kind of learn more about it and also work towards like an initiative that really is high impact. Does anyone else from my team want to hop in on this question?
Yeah, I
Yes.
could touch
Oh,
upon it. Oh, sorry. Do you want to go first?
you go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I didn't really know much about like the male contraceptive space before this. I think like only being in like basic health classes and just getting like the most basic exposure to that kind of knowledge is probably like one of the main reasons I didn't really know anything about it, but I thought it was really interesting getting that new kind of exposure and just learning more about something in the healthcare field that I feel like is very applicable to like real life and these issues that I see a lot of people deal with. So being able to make impact in this exact space is something that I've really grown to value a lot, and just learning more about something that I feel like I was more uneducated about prior to this is something that I think I wouldn't change. And I really appreciate working with everybody and making sure that we can create like this global impact.
yeah, as for me, I did know a little bit about male contraceptives before joining the team, as I knew about kind of the health disparities and also the inequalities of kind of the male contraceptive versus uh like women's contraceptive spaces. And so I remember distinctly when I joined EWH last semester and they asked me what project I wanted to be on, I said that Cecil's project really interested in me because I knew a little bit about male contraceptives and I really wanted to learn more by working on the team. And so last semester I spent my time working on Cecil and MCI's projects and coming up with the investment search. So it's really interesting to kind of grow my knowledge and grow my interest in the field and see how I could make an impact on the kind of like health inequalities in the space by working on these projects.
I'll end. I didn't work directly on this project, and as I was a full team lead throughout last year, but in hindsight, kind of taking a back seat and looking at what the team has progressed to collaborate to this extent and to work, like everyone mentioned, on healthcare inequities and to really refine the way they collaborate has been really inspiring for me looking back as an older member and to see how they progressed through tackling these business challenges.
Cool. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate it. It's very inspiring. Thanks.
Anybody have any other questions? Logan, I'm going to call you back on for a second and put you in the hot seat, and Catherine as well, but just to sort of call out that, so Catherine oversees our youth advisory board activities, and Logan obviously manages our portfolio and our fellowships and engages with a lot of students, but just in general, mentoring role. Um, Catherine does a lot of mentoring as well. And what we've really found is, so we have our sort of standing fellowships. We have the MCI fellowship. Um, we have undergraduate grants with the YAB. And then we have our public health fellowship or practicum that we do every summer with UNC Chapel Hill. So we've also worked with a university in Canada, which I'm totally blanking on right now, where they did a project. We've done several projects actually, now that I think of it. So like projects that with software designers, software engineers, where they developed video games to promote male contraception just as advocacy tools. We've had someone do a public service announcement for male contraception. That's great. And so, Logan, I know you've dealt with a lot of student engagements, and I thought maybe you could give some other examples too, because again, here's a business angle that we got from this amazing team that we didn't have in-house, and that clearly, Cecil benefited from having the assistance as well. So I just didn't know if you had a plug for student engagements that you enjoyed as well, Logan.
You listed a good list there. I think there's other ones that I can think of where we've had like, as a nonprofit, we've used resources from UNC with like, we had an associate with the business school for development some resources. And so I think that there's a lot to be said just for finding things that need attention, whatever they may be. And then as far as the mentoring aspect goes, MCI, that's a big piece of what I like to do. And what I think is important for MCI to do is to continue to bring people into the world such that they get knowledgeable about the space. They see the impact that it can have, but also they have kind of a guiding hand that can show them how it's changed over time. I think that's an important thing for any sort of youth trainee engagement, student sort of engagement too.
I also I see Lee Allen is on too, and I know that student engagement is near and dear to her heart as well. So um, yeah, I just want to make sure that part of this is really promoted, because it's I think, well, Logan, you're a little younger than me, but I know when Kevin and I used to talk about like fellowships that we did back in the old days, it was you did filing, and so it was just such a different world. So every time we work with students, I always joke that I just need to like move and hand over the proverbial keys to MCI to one of these groups, because there's just the the level of work that you guys contribute is amazing. And so it was same on par and even beyond for this Cornell team. But um, and I think, Sophia, we had talked about this, but you don't only work with Cornell groups, right? So the Engineering World Health Program, see, Lee loves her some students. Lee had the best idea for the contraceptive meeting that we had too, which was to have a headshot set up so that students could come in, because Lee for that conference has always had a big focus on student engagement through that. So professional development and all those things. So, so Sophia, I believe you guys are sort of always open to pitches from anyone who might want to work with your team. Is that right? I didn't know if you guys wanted to say anything about that before we wrap up.
Yeah, I think yeah, we're definitely open to working with startups that are outside of Cornell's space. We're always, especially now, we're always looking for sort of new collaborators. In the past, we definitely have mostly been cold emailing, but if people here have a startup or know of an organization that might be interested in working with us, that might have some business related needs, uh, we would definitely be interested in setting up a call and seeing what we can possibly do.
And now I can vouch for Sophia, Nancy, Jacqueline, and Ria as being the experts at male contraceptives. So you have like that edge for you now. So any other products or product developers out there that want to work with you guys, you bring that expertise to the table already. One more call for questions. And Catherine, I saw that you typed some stuff in the chat. I want to make sure you had a chance to chime in if you had anything you wanted to say.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, just kind of echoing what Logan already said, but that we also have at one of the youth focused and led projects that I really love is our granting program, our Youth Advisory Board undergrad grant program. It's like for and by young people, which I think is a rarity to have a grant overseen by a youth organization. And I think just speaks to how much MCI has really prioritized trying to bring in the next generation of advocates and researchers, and is a really cool thing to work on, and always makes me think about our granting in a new way.
Well, thank you all so much again. And please always know you can reach out to us if you have any questions or if you'd like to connect with the team. And I believe we are recording this, so we'll put this up on YouTube if that works for everyone. And hopefully we can pass the word around more of this great opportunity that's out there. Zoe, I'll give you a chance to wrap things up if you would like.
Last thing I just wanted to say is that we do have a whole bunch of webinars coming up. In a couple weeks, Logan is going to be presenting on MCI's grants and fellowships, and that's on the 27th at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then on the day after, on the 28th, MCI is actually going to be joining North Carolina March of Dimes on one of their webinars held through AHAC. We sent out these and we'll be blasting out some more advertisements throughout our communication channels and our LinkedIn and Instagram and those sorts of things. So keep an eye out if you'd like to register, and we'd love to see you all there. And like Heather said, thank you all so much for your time today, and big round of applause for the Cornell team. Thank you guys for sharing your work. I hope everyone has a good rest of their Tuesday.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.